Hey, how are we doing today? How's it going? Greetings, good day, good day. I hope you're well. It's Odessa. Hey, dealing with some Tiwa Savage today. Here we go. All right, I'll take it down. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. I've had this for years, and I go through phases of not wearing them, and I didn't really wear it this year. So thank you for noticing. It's one of my favorite. Good morning. I hope you're well on Instagram and on Facebook. My name is Odessa. I am a womb wellness mentor. Thank you for the love. And I want to greet you all and thank you for being here today. I wanted to talk with you about if you commit today, 3 months from now, thank you, you will thank yourself, right? So today's message is about starting today, because in the future, once you get to that point of looking back, you will be thankful for what you've done. So oftentimes we don't begin things because things are not perfect, right? We're waiting for the right time to start. We're in the middle of something. We've just given our money to a cause, so we might be in debt. We have family, projects that we're saving up for. So it's not a priority, and we're talking about chronic womb health. We're talking about reproductive issues. We're talking about painful periods and clots and, these things that we go through as women with reproductive issues. And one of the biggest things that I hear from women is that there's too much time needed to invest, right? And it's too hard to do, because it takes away from what you've already scheduled. But if you haven't created a schedule, yes, very true, yeah, right? And if you've created a schedule that isn't based off of your needs, right? If you're not able to be considerate towards yourself and your needs in that schedule, then you're not living your best life. That's, for me, that's the basis of this whole living your best life, is being able to have more time for yourself, to be able to care for it or to pamper it, right? But know that there is time for you, right? So oftentimes we think we don't have the time for it. Oh, my schedule is from, I get up at 7 and I leave the house at 8 and I'm back at, 6 and I do but we are the creators of our day, right? And we are the ones who spend our time, not other people. We give people access to us, right? So that's another reason why, sometimes prospects that I'm having conversations with don't think that this work can happen for them because they just don't have the time. It's not, they need to have, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks to do nothing. But that's not always the truth. Another reason is that it's too expensive. This is something that I also hear all the time. The investment that one puts into themselves is paramount, right? You invest every time you put food into your mouth. You invest every time you listen to music. You invest every time you purchase clothes. Thank you for the love, and so if you are, investing in your home and investing in your furniture, right? And you're investing in your trips to get your hair done and your nails done, where is the investment for your health, right? Where is the investment for your happy, healthy, whole? Because you can get dressed and look really good, right? And feel like shit, right? Like you can, be dressed to the nine and have the latest, makeup, everything on fleek, and you can feel terrible in your body. I'll share a story once. I had to take care of a medical emergency, and this was years ago. And I made a really stupid decision. This is before really getting into my own healing, but I made a really stupid decision to spend the money on my vanity than on my health. And the amount of regret that I had, the amount of sufferation that I had, I was like, why do we do this? Right? Because we prefer to look good than to feel better. You know what I mean? We're taught to give to others before you give to yourself. And if that's what you're doing, then you're setting yourself up for detriment, right? Especially if you're living with a chronic illness, so I have these conversations and it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to take the time to do this right now. I'm going to wait a little bit and see if anything changes, right? I don't know if it's going to change, right? But these are some of the things or some of the reasons why clients believe they can't do, or prospects, I should say, not clients, because clients make that step. But prospects believe that there's nothing that can be done, right, to make their why prospects don't believe this work will work for them, right? Or oftentimes what does happen, and I repeat this over and over again, is like your primary caregivers are telling you that your only option is surgery, right? Or they're telling you that your only option is to take X medication, which does give you the relief that you need, you know what I mean? And that's really important. Like your state of mind cannot function if you have a constant pain and constant chronic and constant stress and constant, it's very difficult to. So we acknowledge that, right? But oftentimes, sometimes, and I have heard stories of primary care physicians telling their clients not to get a massage from a massage therapist to help the chronic pain they're living with. And I was like, well, that, it helps to reduce pain and increase circulation and blood flow and, joint mobility. So why would a doctor say that? So sometimes, we get caught up with caregivers who don't know much beyond their scope. And so if a client comes to them with information about therapies outside of their scope, they're not necessarily giving them a positive, go ahead and try it out. A lot of doctors will, but sometimes that's not the case. And so you think that you've got to stick to this primary way of healing, right, through Occidental medicine and medication. Oftentimes, another reason why, prospects don't believe that this kind of womb wisdom works to heal the body is because there are so many fads that are out there. There are so many fads, right? And it's not to say that these things don't work, because nothing is new under the sun. Nothing is new under the sun. But if you don't know how to use a protocol, okay, or for example, you get a new computer, everybody's on this computer thing, and you only know how to turn it on, right? And log on to, let's say, Facebook, right? And that's the only thing that you can do. But you don't know that you can upload videos, you can join groups, you can create books, you can do groups, rooms, you can create lives. You don't know any of that. And so you're just looking at this tool of the computer and Facebook and like, well, this is all I can do with it. So I can connect to one or two people and that's about it. I've got other things to do. But here it's like, well, if this is the protocol and you've got this herb that you're using, this herb actually works really better. That's terrible grammar. This herb works better in combination in synastry with these herbs, and this particular protocol is actually done better at this time of the month or at this time of your cycle, you know what I mean? And these things actually don't work well together, you know what I mean? So when we come up against fads, and when we come up against people who learn only fads, right, and they don't know the history or the combinations or the right depth of information to combine everything together, then you get mediocre results. This is how you get mediocre results, because whatever is available to you online, a lot of the information out there is helpful and useful, but if you don't know the proper protocols of how to use it and how it applies to your body, because your body, may not be the same constitution as another person's body, right? And this will leave you feeling like, well, it doesn't work for me because it worked for her and it's not working well for me. So you don't see the value in it. I love learning about natural ways of healing the reproductive system. It is so poignant, like there's so much beauty inside of there, right? Because of like how quickly women can change the way their bodies are responding to it. I love it too. It's definitely a passion of mine. My daughter has joined. She can let you all know how much of a passion it is. So some of the limiting beliefs, for you to get to the other side, for you to close that gap, it's important for you to know that you are important enough. Okay, that's the first thing. Because we tend to externalize our care, because we tend to, give to others before we fill up our own cups. It's important for us to know that it's okay to put up safe barriers and not have to give to others, out of guilt, and recognize that our own beingness, our bodies, our needs are important enough, right? Another thing that you've got to let go of is, things never work for me. So if you have been, dealing with your chronic issue for the last 5 years, you need more than a month of taking herbs to see a difference, okay? You need at least 3 months of consistent work to be able to see a really great change. It takes 120 days for your blood cells to change. It takes 21 days at least to start integrating new habits, right? So you need at least 3 months of consistent work to start seeing the needle move. Now, if you've had a very chronic issue, you've got to go for a longer period of time, right? But know that it might not be that this particular therapy works for you. It might be that you need a particular combination of therapies. Yes, herbalism, right? This is so important. Like, we know that from the herbalist perspective, that Occidental medicine, synthetic drugs are made with, the principal, I was going to say principalities. That is not the words. What am I losing myself today? Active principles, active constituents in medicine. Okay, guys, it's one of those days. It's a full moon. Mercury's going direct. Mars is going direct. We've got all kind of stuff going on over here. But thank you for that, love. But knowing that that these things can work for you with the right combination, right? And know that, the medication that you're taking, it can wear off. Your body can, get used to taking it. And so, the response to the medication that you take again will be lower because your body is used to it. It has, the defenses are down, especially if you've been taking medication for a long time. Your gut health is going to be compromised, right? So not thinking that you have to take medication for life is one thing that you've got to change. I know that we talked about, synthetic medication and doctors, and this is what they offer you, but there's more to it than that. And it suppresses your system. It tears up your belly, right? So you've got to start thinking about how you can preserve yourself, You've got to stop thinking that you can push forward. I can go a little bit more. It's okay. I can just, keep going. I'll take a break when, you know what I mean? There's no reason for me to slow down, So knowing that pushing harder and not leaning back is, another belief that you've got to change, because our bodies are actually counterintuitive things. Right? For us to be able to thrive, we actually can't be forcing it. You kind of think of it like a baby or like a plant, you know what I mean? Especially like a prayer plant. You got to be so careful with these things, but we don't look at ourselves in the sacredness. We usually have a perspective of profane attribution that we give to the body. not asking for help. All of these things are beliefs that you need to change, thinking that you have to do this on your own, thinking that, great information that you said it takes 120 days for our cells to change. Yeah, it's important to know these things, right? Like we are not just changing our cells, we're changing everything, and it can't happen, well, at least when you're working with me. When you're working with me, we're looking at moving the scale across all multidimensional spaces, right? So knowing that is important. So who you need to become, you've got to start stepping into the CEO of your future and stop allowing your conditioned mind to direct how you're going to give yourself the healing that you need, right? Oh, I've got all these children and we've got these bills to pay and my health can wait, but I know that every single period I'm bleeding through, my sanitary napkins, and I'm bedridden for the first 3 days. That's not a life. You're not giving the people around you your best. You understand what I'm saying? And everybody has debt. Everybody has something that they have to pay off. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the truth of life. And, are you able to make a decision for yourself? And I know for me, like when I started doing that, I started seeing differences. I started seeing that change within myself and how I regarded, my physical body and my health, and how my response to the people around me began to change, right? And them responding to me began to change, right? So you've got to be a soldier for your own revolution. You have to be. Like, I can motivate you as much as you can. I can tell you what to do. I can show you where to go. I can, describe to you the protocol and the steps of what to do. But if you are not a soldier in your own revolution, if you are not on the front lines, telling yourself that that there's more out there and you can get the answers and you can bet on yourself, you can trust yourself and this moment to step in, right? Then you may not get those responses and those answers that you're looking for, right? So you've got to tune into your own body. You've got to trust your own body. You've got to step into, the CEO seat, the throne of your own body, right? And you have to give yourself that opportunity. Pioneer ahead for yourself. That's what it is. Pioneering ahead and giving yourself that freedom, that opportunity to freely experiment and experience, and then to experience the feminine freedom, right, that comes with peaceful periods and successful pregnancies through the womb wisdom that I teach, and that is available out there. So it's about really giving yourself that permission to pioneer ahead, because the work that you're doing on yourself will reflect itself in other people around you, and this is what becomes available, right? You become stronger and healthier in your tissues, right? The integrity of your tissues, it begins to change. This is where people are like, oh, look at your skin, you're glowing, you look beautiful, there's something radiating about you. That's right. That's right. Because you're taking care of yourself now, right? Because you have a new relationship to your body, right? You are in the process of loving you on a different scale now, like you have now available at your fingertips a life with no medication. Because you're integrating the work and you're doing the protocols. And so you are not having to, brace yourself for your day one. You are not, walking around making sure that you've got at least 6 painkillers in your bag for your full day out. You know what I mean? You are able to, raise the confidence that you have in your body, because you know that you're no longer, having, periods for extreme amount of days. You may have gone from 10 days down to 3, from, 7 days down to 2. This is possible for you, right? Like when you are able to make that decision, you know what I mean? You are giving your hormones a rest. And we all know that the hormonal system, if you didn't know, the hormonal system is very, and the endocrines are very much attached to your mood. And so if you experience extreme mood swings, PMDD, PMS, if you've got all these things going on, as soon as you choose to be that soldier in your own revolution, I can guarantee you will begin to stabilize your hormones, you will stabilize your emotions, and your relationships with other people will begin to get better. One thing I do notice is that sometimes women will use the excuse of their symptoms for bad behavior. I don't think you heard me. Oftentimes, women will use the excuse of their mood swings and their menstrual cycle for bad behavior. Ladies, don't do that. Don't do that. You do not, like, if you know that you are projecting, right? Because sometimes people will project. If you know that you are projecting while you're on your cycle, if you are working towards stabilizing your hormones, you will begin to discern more about yourself, and you will be able to repair, right, these issues that might come up between you and the people around you, the loved ones around you, those who support you, while you're going through your menstrual cycle. You will experience, increased energy. Often my clients will tell me about the weight loss that they're experiencing, as well as just a general release of layers in their system. So this is what I wanted to share with you, knowing that you have the ability to change your beliefs around how you care for yourself, right? How high on the list of priorities you place yourself, how sacred, your own experience is. And if you start right now, giving yourself permission to start right now, you will see, the changes that will happen in your first cycle, in your second cycle, and in your third cycle, and by the time you get to where you're going to go, you're going to look back and you're going to see. It's the same thing like if you've been deciding to cut your hair or grow your hair or start your locks, for women who do that, it's like you're sitting and you've been thinking for X amount of time, and then you finally do it, you see the difference. Or if you've not done it, right? I'm getting some love there. Or if you've not done it and 3 months later, you're like, damn, I should have begun. Or you're seeing the people around you saying the same thing. I should have begun. It is never too late. Okay? It is never too late. But if you are aware of the problem and the severity of the problem and you wait longer, you are causing more chronic issues to develop. You are making the boulder bigger and more work for yourself when it comes to taking it apart to create more flow in your life. Okay? So friends, family, everyone, I want to thank you for, coming and being on this live here. If you are interested in this work that I'm doing, please make sure to go into the link, click on the link in my bio on Instagram, or click on the link in this video on Facebook, and go through the application, read it up, fill out a form so that we can book a next step call, and let's see what can happen here. I am offering the Womb Wisdom for Hormonal Health 7-week program. It is an immersion in health and wellness. I have over 18 years of practice, 18 years of information. I have over 15 modalities that I integrate into this work. We go through 3 phases: how to assess. Our second phase is how to cleanse, and our third phase is complete immersion and integration into the weekly practices of how to establish your self-care routine and your lifelong womb care routine. This is lifelong information that I impart on you that women need to gather to be able to create a healthier momentum in their life and in the lives of other women. And so if this is something you feel called to do or participate in, let me know. Doors for enrollment are closing next week, and we begin November 22nd. So please let me know in the comments below. You can hashtag replay. You can share this with a friend, tag, like, comment, content. And I will see you all again soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.